Hi, I'm Ron Stocke, and I'm with Hawaiian Painting Tours. And can you believe it? We're within 100 days of our next workshop. Coming up this February. Please, for any information, go to www.hawaiianpaintingtours.com and you can get all the information you like. What I thought would be a good idea is show you some of my gear, show you what I've learned over the years, what to take and what not to take. I travel with a metal palette. There are several on the market. I'll show you what works best for me. There are some small, cute little ones like this, which is not really good for what we're going to do. This is probably a good palette for sketching in a cafe or doing something small, maybe a postcard, sending it home to a loved one. They move up to a nice palette with fold out sides and removable cakes. This is getting closer to what I use, but still not enough mixing space and not enough areas for color for me. But I collect a lot of them, so I have one. This is the next family, and obviously I have used these. These guys have a large mixing area and plenty of room for color. Those of you who are worried about taking color on an airplane, once it's laid out in your palette like this, I've never had any issues. So if you want to leave your tubed color at home, just make sure to squeeze out the color in your palette a couple days prior to leaving, and that way when you get on the island, the cakes will be settled and ready to go. I know many of you know me through M. Graham. I do use M. Graham watercolor. The advantage of it is it has honey in the paint, so that when you're on location, it soaks in the moisture around, allowing you to spend less time digging out color and more time painting. This is my guy. It's a 35 well palette, and really it's my main palette. I use this in my studio as well as on location. It might be large, or it might seem large for some of you, but trust me, when you're using a large mop brush, this area really comes in handy. If you don't want 35 colors, which I rarely paint with all of these, you can double up colors. Here I've doubled up ultramarine blue, here yellow ochre, and then here's some burnt sienna. So to get a 2-inch wash brush or a big mop in there, use as many as you like. The reason I use a metal palette is because it's durable, and watercolor seems to adhere to it better than a plastic palette. I can't tell you how many times I've sat or stepped on this thing. Next is brushes, and believe me, I have the same sickness as everybody. I buy and have collected way too many brushes over the years. Some of the nicer brush containers, like this one has an area for my pencils, a little spray jug, and other pens I use in a sketching class I do. And then on the other side, which is separated by this hard piece of material, I have my brushes. If you're thinking about bringing 12 brushes, let's say you're going on location, you're thinking about how many brushes to use, and you start with 12, reduce it in half, because what will happen is you'll actually end up using 4. I use this guy. This is my main brush container. It's just a really inexpensive bamboo container. As you can tell, I've put it to good use. I will probably bring half of these brushes to Hawaii with me. Some of the main ones, like my big wash brush, I'll bring. This is a dagger brush by Connoisseur that I like, and you can see why. It's a perfect palm tree brush, 1 or 2 strokes, and that's all you need. Possibly a rigger brush, and then a few of these rounds that I use on a regular basis. The rest I'll leave home. Bottom line, when you're traveling, think of reducing the weight load of your gear. Believe it or not, 5 or 6 brushes will add a few ounces, and you'll be thankful you didn't bring them. There's also some travel brushes that I've used. This is an Stocke brand. One thing I will say about travel brushes is make sure that they fold out to a proper length brush. Like I said, this is a Stocke, this is a connoisseur. I have had travel brushes that are about 4, maybe 5 inches long, and it's difficult to really paint with them. This is a nice wallet, it's expensive. I don't use it a lot because I use my regular brushes in my studio and on location. So, but if it's something that works for you, please feel free to invest in it. Probably the biggest item that artists forget is their water container and how to travel with water. These are a simple rubber pop-out container. These are made by Faber-Castell, and I have several of these because I'll need them if I'm painting even a half sheet watercolor. The only issue I have with these, they're a bit small. So I recently bought this container that's got a hard plastic edge so you can palette the brush, and as you can see, it's twice if not 3 times larger than these guys, but either work. If you're going to carry your water, a lot of times we'll have bottled water. That's fine, but a bit wasteful. You can go to any REI or a store like that and get yourself a Boda bag or a collapsible bag that you can put your water in. I bring a sponge. Most of my paletting will be on my sponge. I attach that to my easel. I have a roll of masking tape. That's usually what I stretch my paper on, or paper with. I also carry a little blade because inevitably I'll need this to cut something, cut the tape off the paper, or even scratch into the paper for a line or a bird or a highlight. These are worth their weight in gold if you can still find them. Now for your watercolor paper, I have put together just a simple portfolio that I can use for a portfolio to carry my paper and a board to stretch my paper on. All it is a piece of plastic, essentially. I went to a plastic manufacturer, got this, and what it is a piece of foam core, but much more rigid. Taped it onto another piece, and that way you can keep your clean paper protected as well as finished paintings protected, and use that throughout the weekend. Finally, my easel. This is my easel. It's a simple bar that will attach to any tripod, standard tripod fixture. These adjust in depending on the size of the block or the half sheet that I'm using. And I put everything into this portfolio. This portfolio has several pockets. I fill them with my palette, my brushes, and all of my spare gear in here. This will fit into the compartment above your seat in an airplane. I've never been stopped yet, so it's a perfect fit. Well, there's a look at my gear. Remember, one thing I try to do is use the same gear that I have in the studio out on location. If you can get used to that, then there's no surprises when you're out painting plein air. Inevitably, there will be wind, bugs, traffic, so try to reduce that as much as possible. Also, reduce the weight. Look, thanks for watching. We hope that we see you in February on the Big Island. And please go to the website, www.hawaiianpaintingtours.com. Aloha.